How are you, Dylan?
What was that?
Dylan?
Yes. Hey, how you doing, Minnie?
Nice to meet you.
You too. Thanks for coming on and doing this. I know our friend Rachel.
Thanks for having me.
I know our friend Rachel set this up, so I'm very appreciative always of Rachel and those people over there at Aristo.
Oh yeah, they're great.
So Minnie, how's your week been?
It's been good. Yeah, I mean, we've had some family stuff going on that's been kind of hard, but that's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's good. How have you been?
Same. I've been working hard, working long hours. So same. It's just been crazy since the pandemic has kind of let down a little bit. It's just been constant going. So
yeah, it's a lot of catch up and reconnecting.
But doing these podcasts, because I never do them in person. I always do them via Zoom or stuff like that, just because I'm just in a different state than a lot of other people. And so that was never really a problem for me doing the podcast. But now when I'm playing catch up, it's like, okay, now you have to get these people that you booked quicker because they're going back on tour quicker. And it's just like you had all the time in the world for 6 to 9 months. And then now it's just like, oh shit, you better go ahead. You better get it planned.
So your last name is Hodge?
That's right.
It's so funny because my fiance and I, we call each other Hodge and Hodge, and say, I'm Hodge. No, you're Hodge. I'm Podge. And we always go back and forth on who's Hodge and Podge. And then he's a mechanic, and so we call our garage Hodgepodge Garage.
What's the significance between Hodge and Podge? What is that a nickname for you guys?
Just because we're into so many different things, and we're just a hodgepodge of different things,
That's the same with me. That's why the podcast is what it is just because it's not one specific thing. It's 30,000 different things.
That's cool. I can't wait to dig into the archives and listen to your podcast. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but yeah, because Johnny and I, we actually had an idea, Hodgepodge Podcast. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have an interview with a Hodgepodge Podcast that already exists. It's like, it's so funny.
Well,
it's just funny how the universe works like that.
I promise you're not going to be anywhere. You're not going to be surprised at how awful the podcasts are.
Oh, no, I like simple things.
I'm not professional. I just get on here and I just shoot shit with a lot of people. And then some people like it.
I love that.
Some people don't, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I have a friend that does that, and it just feels like you're reading his diary. He has no plan. He's just like, hey, Wednesday night, here's what happened today. And it's like, it's so intimate and interesting. So
well, I just
you don't have to have all the bells and whistles.
I just like to see the different side of people that other people don't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because
I love that.
I do have notes here and we're going to go over some of them, but it's just, I think it's total boring if you get the same people on that have done 30,000 plus interviews and you already know what they're going to say to every question. I don't write questions for that reason, because it's just, what they're going to say. So why even be prepared for it? Yeah,
I dig that. Yeah. I think probably a lot of people get nervous, and so they just have like answers ready to go. But
that is is that your recording studio behind you, or is that just a room in your house?
This is my kitchen, actually.
Oh wow, shit.
It's a big mess. Talk about hodgepodge. We've had a lot of chaos going on lately, but yeah, it's clutter everywhere. But then, I just got my, stereo and my guitar and my piano and my books and stuff. And my little boy.
How old
my
is
little
he?
boy, he's a year and a half.
Okay.
And he just threw his strawberry on the floor. but this is what builds the immune system. There you go. So I'm gonna. So, and he threw it on the floor again.
So before you had him, I read that you were going through a lot of personal struggles. So when you had him, why did those personal struggles just kind of disappear? Because I don't have kids, so I don't know if that's really true. If you have a kid and it makes all the problems go away.
Well, it makes you get your shit together, you know.
Okay.
And I think that, you know, obviously problems don't go away, but your perspective changes about how precious life is, and it makes you think of yourself less, you know, because you got to put them first. And I think anything that does that, whether it's like volunteer work or just, you know, working on something, you know, creative, helping people, you know, and you get your mind off yourself, it's always a good thing. So, but yeah, went through a lot with my fiance and I'm sorry, he's gonna be screaming. Let me get him some. He likes this cinnamon raisin toast. That might keep him quiet. But anyway,
do you need a minute? Because I can give you a minute if you need a minute.
let me just grab him this piece of toast and hold on 1 second.
Okay.
It'll be 1 second.
All right, no problem. Take your time. I understand.
It's a Pepperidge Farm cinnamon raisin. Yeah, it's good. Okay, yeah, so yeah, Johnny and I, we've been together for about 6 years, and we had a miscarriage and went through a lot of grief and kind of numbed the pain with some drugs and stuff, and we both had to go to rehab, and it was really hard. And then we came back together and had Phoenix, and you know, it's just been such a blessing that we were saved, you know, to get our lives back together and have a second chance at being parents, and so it just made me. A lot of people say that, like, when you have kids, you know, you got to give up your dreams and stuff. But for me, it was like really motivating. It made me want to leave something for him that he could, when he grows up, he could pull out an album and say, hey, that's mom, and that's my mom, and then just leave an example to, like, never give up, no matter how hard things get, and no matter how old you are, or how many times you've been told no, you know, just because I think, like, before I had Phoenix, I always felt like nothing was good enough, you know, and because I moved to Nashville, I was a senior in high school, and I'd been coming here writing with people during high school, and I always knew I wanted to do music, and so I got a record deal my senior year in high school, and I just, you know, was really naive. I was like, I had all my acceptance speeches in my head, and like stupid, like, videos in my head, and, you know, like, I just, like, had all these, I mean, which is good, you know, to, like, think that way. But, you know, the deal fell apart because Sony merged with RCA, and you know, I just, like, lost my deal and kind of had a mental breakdown pretty early on, like, because we all moved here as a family, so everybody was counting on me, you know, and I was, like, you know, 19, and I just bought this house, And then it was like, boom, it's all over. And what do I do? And I just started waiting tables, and I felt all this shame, you know, and I just woke up sick every morning because literally, like, my brother and sister moved here with me, and my mom and dad, and my mom was also signed, and my dad was managing me, and it was like this big family deal, and it didn't work out because I was trying to do, like, I've never wanted to be super mainstream, you know. I always wanted to do something that nobody heard before, and my dad is really country rock, and then of course my sister's Jamie O'Neill, and but even Jamie, she's got that R&B stuff too, and my mom kind of turned me on to a lot of old blues and jazz and stuff, and she grew up in New Orleans, and or she lived in New Orleans, but she also lived in Texas, and anyway, but so I had like this kind of like, and plus I grew up north of Seattle, and I loved, like, I just love all kinds of music. I love alternative, grunge, indie, you know, the old country, and I do love new country too. And then you know, I really love jazz. I love improv. I just love improv in general, like what you talk about with your show, like not having a plan. I feel like that's where the magic happens, you know. And so anyway, that at that time with the Sony deal, I had like an upright bass, and I was playing piano, and it was kind of like a Norah Jones country thing. And then Norah Jones came out, and it was like, it's funny how, like, sort of the zeitgeist or the atmosphere, the mainstream atmosphere, people find pockets where they can see, like, oh, nobody's done this, or this is what sort of people are feeling, and you can kind of, like, you know, like, I guess at that time it wasn't a lot of like stripped down production, you know, so I was really into that rootsy, folky kind of stripped down, jazzy, country hybrid thing. I mean, it was everything from like Bjork to, you know, Western swing that I was trying to fuse in, just like everything that I love, you know. And I think it was just kind of like, they were like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. And so they dropped me, and I kind of learned a lot because it was kind of my way or the highway, because it was so strange for me moving to Nashville, because growing up in Bellingham, Washington, you know, when I wanted to write, it was like usually at nighttime, you know, and raining, or go to the piano. But Nashville is like, you get up and you have 10 a.m. You walk into a room with somebody you never met, and they're like, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I'm like, well, I grew up in Washington, and you know, you're there, and this person's had all these hits, and they're like, all right, I'm 17 and I got a dream to move across America. And I was just like sitting in these rooms, like, you know, feeling kind of weird about it, you know. And so, but now it's totally, it's a part of me, and I understand what Music Row is, you know, and I love collaborating. Although I really respect people that write on their own as well. But I don't even know where I'm going with all this. I feel like I'm running off on tangents. But so yeah, you know, it's like you grow up and you have a bunch of different experiences. You meet a lot of people, and it all kind of melds together, you know. And so after that deal not working out, and you can stop me at any time and ask a question, or we can go on to something else. But I don't know. I'm kind of scatterbrained. But anyway, like it was just off and on deals, you know, since I've been living here for 18 years. And waiting tables and just trying to make sure I didn't lose my house. And then like getting another deal that didn't work out, and then playing piano bars, doing cover bands, going down on Broadway, working for tips, you know, playing for free, whatever, you know. But I think, you know, it's just a lot of like, you know, paying your dues. And then this last, so basically I've had 2 major record deals that where the music was never released. And so I developed a lot of insecurity about feeling like, and plus I had other projects, you know, like a punk rock thing that I never got finished, and, you know, like a total like glam pop project that was never released. And then I was in like this sort of girl band that was sort of like really raunchy and a lot of like cuss words and, you know, songs about, you know what, sort of like, you know, and just stuff that never really came out. And it was just all these different sides of myself, you know. And I think I just felt like I didn't know who I was. And I just never felt like anything was good enough, because the deals, it's just hard, you know, like there's so many people that go into it, and sometimes somebody pulls the plug, you know, the person with all the money decides, you know what, because it's kind of a sinkhole, you know, it's like you got to spend a lot of money, and the music business has changed so much to where like that zeitgeist mainstream thing that where everybody was aware of everything, and they could see, like, as an artist, you could see like, oh, well, I want to talk about this because nobody's doing that. That's gone, you know, because everybody can listen to whatever they want to now. So we're not all exposed to the same thing as much as we used to be. You know what I mean? And so, and then there's been all that, you know, Napster and sorry. Let me get this watermelon.
You're okay. You're fine.
Okay. But anyway, oh no, strawberry. So when I was in between deals, let me get him out of his iPad. Now I managed to hold on to this house that I'm here in. It's okay, sweetie. And like, you know, Music Cares helped me. They paid my mortgage one year. Stop. But like, you know, it's been really hard, you know. I didn't grow up with any money or anything, but I was waiting tables in between deals, and it was a really hard kind of like, the boss was pretty mean there. He was like this Greek guy, and he was like, how do I put the bechamel on the side? You say you're sorry every fucking day. I was just like, I'm sorry for saying I'm sorry. And like, anyway, so I was like, anyway, like, I just said, you know what, I'm a songwriter and I'm going to go try to get another deal. And so I went up to Evergreen because Johnny Morris had asked me to sing songs and for some of his catalog before, and he wanted to sign me as an artist, but I didn't want to be his artist. And I just didn't know who I was at that point, but, you know, struggling to hold on and working multiple jobs at a time and stuff. I just, you know, I was like, well, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to just try to get a deal as a writer. And it worked out. And so I've been at Evergreen for the past like 6 or 7 years now. I had no plan. It was like the first time I walked into a company without my dad managing me or you know, without anybody's help. I just walked in and it's like, hey, can I write for you? I didn't think about like how much money to ask for or whatever. I didn't even think he would say yes. And he was like, well, how much are you wanting? And I was just like, so I started off at like, just like $1,000 a month, you know, and, you know, still working and gigging and just, you know, it's just always like kind of, it's a service is what my dad has always told me, you know, like playing music. I mean, I always made up my mind that I wanted to make a living doing music. And to me, that's always been a blessing, just to be able to like sing demos or be in a band or just be able to make my living doing that, like somehow, you know, I don't care which way it is, like play keyboards for somebody or you know, be in dance bands and wedding bands or just play local taverns around or write at a publishing company or but like the Evergreen deal was really good for me because there's another way for me to not be thinking about myself. You know, I was writing songs for other people and getting better as a writer and so I really, really enjoyed like getting the pitch list of like artists and seeing what songs they were looking for, and the producers, we'd get these pitch lists, you know, like Jason Aldean is looking for a song like, you know, My Kind of Party. He's looking for another My Kind of Party song, you know, and no ballads or whatever. And so, or there'd be a girl artist like, we want something kind of like the Dixie Chicks. And so it was fun to just, you know, work on writing, you know, and thinking about other people instead of like swarming around in my own emotional, you know, junkyard, which it still is, but I think like also just having my first deal as just a writer instead of an artist, like made me more interested in language and just words and you know, Southern sayings or little idioms and like limericks and poetry and foreign languages, and how there's not a word for certain things in certain languages, you know. Whereas I used to be more about the music and I didn't really think too much about lyrics but it's just, there's so many things you can get into. And I think that's why I wanted to do music as a kid. It's like you can learn, you know, countless instruments. You can always pick up a new instrument and try to get better at that. You know, there's the engineering thing, recording, all that software, you know, and then there's stage production, performing, and showmanship. There's so many different areas that you can constantly get better at. So it's just it's a never ending growing process. And I love that, you know, but anyway, so sorry if I'm rambling on. I don't know what you're thinking.
No, it's fine. I do want to go back though, because I want to know. So I have made a commitment to probably never have kids because I don't think I'm worthy enough to have kids, but I do have nephews. And my nephews are kind of, you know, I was in that same headspace of, you know, I have to be successful for my nephews. I have to be successful for my parents, my siblings. I just have to be successful. But then once my nephews came along, and they're 2 and another one's a couple months old, I then realized that they don't care if they live in a cardboard box with you. They don't care what you look like. You may think that you're ugly, but they don't care. And then that was when I realized, I don't have to be successful in order for them to look up to me. They're automatically going to look up to you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely worthy to have children. I know that feeling. I didn't feel like I deserved to be a mom.
Yeah.
No, because I made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was suicidal at a point, and
Oh,
like,
man.
um, like, especially after like not, pregnancies not working out and relationships and rehab or whatever. But I was driving downtown and I looked up and there was the St. Thomas billboard with like a hand holding like a little premature baby. And it said like, all things are possible or something like that. And I was like, I felt like that was, to me, that's kind of how God speaks to me. Or it's always like in these ordinary moments where I'm really distraught. And then I see a message in nature or just something, and it comforts me. And I felt like, in that moment, I was like, I'm going to be a mom, it's the best thing ever. It gives you so much confidence. And I think all those feelings of like, never finishing everything, I didn't want to do that this time. I wasn't going to let because it's still there, like the feeling like we could have done better, or
But I think that feeling is going to be there for everybody. Like you could have done something different. Like I don't think there's one person. There's not one person in this world that are thinking, I love everything from the beginning to the end of how everything has happened in my life. No. Do you think like Steve Harvey wanted to be poor? No, he would have had it differently. He would not have lived in his car for a year and a half. He would, but he did it to become successful. But if he could change it, would he change it? Hell yeah, he would change it. Because everybody has that mindset of, I wanted it better. I want it better for my children. I want my children to have it better for their children. It's just a mental mindset we all have. Like I don't think there's one person that would say, I love my life from the beginning to where I'm at now. Because there's always been somebody's always had that one chance that you've never taken because you thought it was right. But then it turns out months later, damn, maybe I should have took it. Maybe I should have taken that job. Maybe I should have went that way instead of to the right. Everybody has that. Everybody has that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing, I mean, to be able to embrace the ugliness and the imperfection. And some of my favorite recordings, people are out of tune and but if it's a moment in time that captures our fragility,
Yeah.
And so yeah, with this record of mine that I'm putting out, like, well, we just got this first single. I'm really proud that I've finished it, really, and it's actually, out there because I haven't really. There's so much stuff that I haven't released, and because of feeling like it, wasn't quite right, but I think like, it's just like, what if your house is a mess, and don't let that stop you from having people over that you love, or like, if you, whatever it may be, like, just own it, like it's hard to talk about like going to rehab, and my mom's been like, don't talk about that. And it's like, well, it's pretty common, and made it out, and maybe I could help somebody. I don't know, like, I think that like being real is,
but it's also part of the reconstruction of yourself. Like the foundation was broken. There was water coming in from the foundation. You had to replace that foundation. So you, with the rehab happening, you poured more concrete, poured more foundation, and you built the walls up now, and they're sturdier. You have a kid, you have a family, and it's just on the reconstruction.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
oh, totally. I was watching. Do you ever watch This Old House?
never heard of it, I don't think.
Oh, it's like a home renovation show.
Oh, no.
These guys are like just really master craftsmen, construction guys that, and the guy always says, you know, do it right the first time, and it kind of pisses me off because it's like everything is so perfect, you know, but like, I don't know how, you know, we can't always do things right the first time. Sometimes you just have to like get in there and just figure it out. And if it's not right, then you start over or just,
But isn't
that scrap
but
it?
Isn't that the beauty of real life versus television?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, because like you said, but I look at it this way. I'm a perfectionist, and my way, I have to have everything a certain way. But everyone in their own mind's a perfectionist. If, like you said, don't stop your house being dirty from people coming over. That's your perfection. Like, you think that, like, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's like, if there's dirty dishes in the sink, hey, we have enough to eat. There's a lot of plate dirty. There's trash. That means we're able to buy stuff that we can throw away and waste. But that's perfection to other people, besides just being absolutely perfect, absolutely clean and tidy. It's just perfection in everybody else's eyes. You know, you think everybody has this, like, I am to the point where, like, every day, like, I'm just a big germaphobe when I'm like, every day I have to act like the president of the United States is coming over. He's not, but it's just like, well, what if he was? And then, but that's perfection to me. But like you said, who gives a shit? Your house is dirty, it's dirty. You know what I mean? It's like, that's perfection to you, that's perfection to everybody else. It's all in how you look at it.
I'm gonna change this diaper, but I can still talk.
The life of being a mom.
He's got a big poop. But
God, I did not think that's what you were gonna say.
So this is our podcast, right? Or do you edit it?
Hey, I usually don't edit, but if you want some stuff edited out, I can definitely.
Oh no, it's fine. I just felt like I blabbed on too long.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. You don't understand how some people are. Some people love to talk, and I love those people that do love to talk. Besides the people that hate to talk and still want to do a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure, because like sometimes people want to get the whole backstory, and it's hard to like talk. I don't know, but like just wanted to make sure I wasn't being rude or something with making sure it's a back and forth conversation.
No, you're. So, but is that the worst part about being a parent, is having to wipe somebody else's crap? Like, because I would feel I can't do that. Like, I don't know how to change a diaper. I don't know how to put a car seat in. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. But I feel like that is the worst part.
Oh, not at all. I never changed a diaper before either. And no, I mean, I'm not afraid of a little shit. So everybody poops, and I actually enjoy pooping myself.
All right then.
But all right, I'm almost done here. Okay.
That may be why he was whining the whole time.
What's that?
I said that maybe why he was crying the whole time, because I don't really like using the bathroom on myself either.
Yeah. Sometimes, like if we're laying down and he's pooped, he'll just come and just put his butt in my face, sit on my face, and let me know, hey, it's time to clean up. Time to clean me up. I'm just like, "Rah." I mean, he'll have his diaper on, of course. But anyway.
Better hope so.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I mean,
Minnie, I do want to talk about a couple more things, and I'll let you go and finish doing the parrot thing. I'm
fine. I can talk as long as you want.
I'm a big
I enjoy
nerd.
it.
I'm a big nerd for talk shows, and I seen where you were. Actually watched it where you were on with Jamie on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Yeah.
What is that like being on the Tonight Show? Because for me, I would be, if they were like, "You're going to be on the Tonight Show," I'd be like, "My day is made. I can die tomorrow as long as I get to be on the show." You know, what's the process like? I know you weren't. You know, they weren't asking you to do it or whatever, but what's the process of being at the Tonight Show like?
Well, they film it in the day, and
Right.
You got to like sign up for your union after whatever, like, which kind of sucks because that was in LA and I would have gotten paid more if I'd done it here instead of LA, but I had never had to sign up for that yet.
So anyway, you get paid to be on the Tonight Show?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just there to promote. I thought you were there to promote your stuff, like you're doing the podcast.
No, you get paid.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
if you're on
Okay.
TV. But yeah, I was just singing backup for Jamie, and
yeah,
I was pretty young then. I might have been 20, or I was really, really shy. I was really shy in my early life, in general, but I don't think I barely said a word. I met Jay Leno and I was just taking pictures and he's just like, photographer. He called me photographer. Because I was just backstage, like, you know, because I was so shy. I was like, I just have some kind of barrier between myself and
Did you guys
everything.
Did you guys play limbo with Jay Leno's chin at all? Was that a thing?
Did we what?
Play limbo with Jay Leno's chin?
With his chin?
You don't understand the joke here? He got a big chin, sticks out.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I didn't know if
I guess not.
was a thing people did. No, he does have a big chin. And he was wearing his Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah.
The all denim get up. And yeah, I mean, I remember being backstage and watching my sister get her makeup done, and I was talking to the makeup artist, and I wanted to put my lipstick like way below my lip, and he was like, "It makes you look like you don't know how to do your makeup." And Jay Leno didn't say that, but the makeup artist. I remember putting like turquoise eyeshadow on, and yeah, those high profile gigs, like, I mean, it was really sweet for Jamie to ask me and my other sister Melissa to do that. She's always been really inclusive, and I didn't grow up with Jamie, but you know, we're really close. But you know, she could have hired anybody for that. So that was really kind of her. And like, we did the Grand Ole Opry, and I think you're just so nervous that it's just kind of an overwhelming moment. You know, it's like the lights are so bright and you don't want to mess up. And so we're just standing there, you know, doing our little side to side dance and just letting it rip as best we can, you know, and then it's over like that and it just all flies by. But honestly, I think playing the Grand Ole Opry was more exhilarating than the Tonight Show. Something about stepping out on that stage, I don't know, it was just incredible.
But it's
at
also
that age, you know?
It's also super simple. Besides the fact that it's historic, it's historical and stuff like that, but it's also just super simple.
Yeah, you don't want to make too much of it. I think Bruce Springsteen said, you know, when you walk out on stage, you have to feel like it's the most important thing in the world, and then at that same time that it doesn't mean anything, like it's a combination of, and I think that keeping that perspective that it's not that big of a deal is what allows you to stay authoritative and confident in that moment, not let your nerves get the best of you. But I used to like sprint before a performance. I would, and really meditate and just like, try to get all this circulation in me, and like, just like, I was really like, it was really, really important to me. And now a lot of times I don't even warm up at all, and I just go out there. But either way, I always try to do my best. But as starting out as a kid, it was like, I'd go to the gigs that my parents were playing, and I knew that at some point my dad was going to say, all right, folks, well, we got a very special guest, and my daughter. And so I was just waiting the whole night for that. And my stomach was just totally torn up. And my brother and sister were having fun playing with, shooting pool or just running around backstage. And there'd be like these chairs with wheels on the bottom of them, and just like running down the ramp and jumping on the wheelie chair and just having a bunch of fun. And I could never really do that because I was like, I'm going to be called up, and like, so until that was over, I couldn't really have fun and relax all the way. But yet at the same time, I didn't mind, because I felt like, I had a duty coming up, like, it's a good feeling to feel like, you can, I don't know, it's magical stuff. I think, like, playing music, there's a lot of sacrifices, but like, it's all worth it. It's just like having a kid, like, I was in the ICU when I had him because I had to have an emergency C-section, and I lost like 2 liters of blood, and I didn't even get to hold him for 4 days. So they had me doped up on morphine and big blood bags, and I like got up out of the bed and looked at myself, and I was just like flushed white. No, all this blood, they cut me the wrong way or something. I might not be able to have kids again, but he came out, like, he was in the NICU for a little bit, but his lungs weren't developed. But I don't care about all that stuff. I'd do it again. Like, we made it, and he's healthy, and I feel it's such a privilege. And I hope everybody gets to experience that, but anyway.
Minnie, the last thing I want to talk about this new song you got out, and it's called Get Over It. So basically, this song was not initially going to be the first release, but you felt that people needed to hear it, so you was like, screw it, let's go ahead and release it. Is that right? Somewhat.
Well, I wasn't planning to put out anything. I was just a writer for Evergreen, but my publisher has always wanted me to be an artist, and from time to time he would have me record old songs that he wrote. And the company's been there for so long that there's an old catalog. Like, it's like a time warp when you go in there. There's charts from back in the 80s that when country music had like parentheses in the titles, and it was like really strange, like, you stole my car, but I still got the keys in parentheses, or whatever, like, I don't know, some weird, like, it's kind of neat to like sing songs that he was still hung up on, like, hey, I want you to, this is still a hit, and so I had a pile of stuff that was kind of retro classic country. Like the second song on the album is one that my publisher wrote, and it's like that old style. And I think like after having Phoenix, I don't know, I always had the idea like of just wanting to put out like kind of a classic country album. And it's not like totally classic. I mean, there's quite a range of stuff on this project. There's a song I wrote for my son actually, and he's on there, and I recorded him right after he said mama. And that's kind of more of a folky thing, but
Well,
Get Over It was
what's that feeling like of the first time your kid that you birthed says mama? What's that feeling like?
the first time he said mama.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I have a video of it on my Instagram. It wasn't the exact first time, but it was like the first day I got him to say it again. And my friend was like, it's a monumental day. Monumental. And like, because he said it all raspy. He's like, mama. Right. And so, you know, it kind of started off like, mama, 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 mama. And we weren't quite sure that he knew what he was saying, but he knows I'm mama now. And if he hears that recording, he says it back in the same way with the rasp, like mama. But I took him in the booth and he was making all of his baby noises and squeals and really high, like sounds like a theremin, you know, and then he said mama, mama. And so every time I listened to that track, it would make me cry. It's like the most beautiful sound in the world to me.
Right.
Watch out. No, you get stuck, you back it up and you turn it where you want to go. Remember? This is like my saying to him, because he likes to push this stroller and then he gets stuck. And I say, you get stuck, you back it up and you turn it where you want to go.
Well,
But and that's the great thing about parenting is you say things like, and you don't realize that they're actually like life lessons. Sorry, my makeup's all smooth. You know?
yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to listen back. You know, it's like everything, I don't know. Inside for a second. It's hard for me to think sometimes. It's always
No, you're
gotta
fine.
watch them. Give me one.
Okay.
Come here, baby. Oh, but yeah, but so back on the hey, sweetie. So Get Over It. Get Over It was a title that my publisher. No, outside. I mean, it's not easy being a parent.
Hey, I'm
Sometimes I just gotta put earplugs in.
yeah.
Let's put this inside and then. Sorry, I think I accidentally muted it.
No, you're cool.
Be there. Where'd the video go? Oh, there it is. Okay. I look like crap today.
No, Minnie, look.
But who cares?
You're cool. So go ahead. I'll go ahead. I'll let you go. I know you're busy. You've given me an hour of your time, and I do appreciate it. But go ahead and just promote anything you want to promote. Take as long as you need to.
Oh, well, the song Get Over It is available everywhere, and it's got that old school vibe, feels like an old friend and something you'd hear at a truck stop diner, you know, or you know, if you go and sit in a dive bar and, you know, bum a cigarette off a veteran that's sitting next to you, or it's just somebody, you know, blue collar.
Right.
I like that feeling of like a, you know, like it's just easy to listen to. And I think like when we wrote that song, I just found myself listening to it every morning. And the vibe had a familiar, nostalgic kind of, like, it's not too heavy feeling, but it's just that feeling of just sitting and having a beer at your favorite dive bar, you know, and it's like, you know, you're just kind of vibing on this, you know, it's not like you're bawling your eyes out, but I don't know. There's a little bit of a charm to the accumulation of experiences of heartbreak, you know, and that you get used to, and it's like kind of just like a little dust on your jacket or whatever, and it's okay, you know, but you still want to have a beer about it, you know. That kind of vibe of country music. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%.
But like, and you know, I think also like, I mean, the song's definitely about heartbreak and nursing your heartbreak, and you know that you probably don't need to get wasted, but you just want to numb the pain. And so it's like we all have the saboteur archetype that, you know, makes poor decisions and then we'll deal with the consequences later. And that's just, you know, a drink about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a vibe, and I like that kind of country, you know. It's not overly clever, or it's not really what everybody else is doing as far as the modern, you know, beats and stuff. And I love all that stuff too, but yeah, so there'll be more to come. And, but I'm kind of like, I'm gonna do a Spanish version of it actually.
Oh, really?
So I'm excited about that. That'll be my next. I got my friend to translate it, and then I like, my favorite artists are like people that reinvent themselves all the time, you know, like David Bowie and Madonna and Bjork, and people that you never know what their next thing's gonna be. And because like I got these other projects I never put out, and I want to put them out too. And a lot of them aren't country at all. And a lot of people say that's like a huge mistake. But everybody's so territorial about like
Right.
branding yourself, and you know, pick your lane and stay in it. And I don't feel like that's how life is, you know. I feel like, why would you want to paint the same thing over and over again? So I want people to know that there's a lot of surprises and a lot of different things, because I'm learning and growing too. And I like to show different sides of myself. We all have, like Meryl Streep said, we all have everybody within us. We feel every emotion, you know. So I think it's cool to like, you know, do whatever you're feeling in the moment.
Right.
And the pandemic and having a kid made me want to go back to that nostalgic country that I listened to in the station wagon of my dad, you know, like as a little kid, you know. 94.1 KMPS and all that kind of like country from way back then that my dad would play. And I guess like, because there's a song on the album about coming from a musical family, and it's kind of like feels like a trucker vibe. Like, I don't know, I've always loved semi trucks and truck stop diners. So I did my photo shoot at a truck stop, and Johnny was like, "You trying to look like a lot lizard?" I never even heard that term before, but
there is a good documentary about lot lizards on I think it's Amazon maybe. I found it very fascinating.
yeah. I think semi trucks give me that same nostalgic feeling that the old country music does.
Right.
Because they haven't changed. You know, when you're on the road and you see like, you know, big 18-wheeler with chicken lights like all around the box, you know, like, I don't know, it feels like Christmas or something to me.
Yeah.
And so, and I wanted to feel, you know, I think part of the panic of these times we live in made me want to like garden. And I was already feeling that way being a mom, like we got to like become self-sustainable and, you know, have a pond with fish and you know, our own food and can it for a year. And I think that old country music just feels like, I don't know, I just felt like a lot of that vibe. It's kind of a winter album, you know, and I think like there's a lot of family thread topics in there, and just that feeling of a simpler time, you know. So, and that's comforting for me because I don't know what the hell's going on anymore.
Yeah. I don't think any of us do.
It's been one thing after the other. I just lost my sister a couple of weeks ago, one of my sisters. So life is so precious and things move so fast, and it makes me want to be creative though. It makes me want to just, you know, do stuff. We don't know how much time we have left, and there's so much to learn and do. I want to do a podcast too. I guess I can't call it Hodgepodge Podcast anymore.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Hodgepodge Garage Podcast. We'll have to come up with another name.
There you go. But look, Minnie, I appreciate your time you've taken, and I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you finish being a mom. But really, I do appreciate you being on here.
Oh, thanks, Dylan. It was really fun. And love to do it again sometime. And I can't wait to check out the archives. What was your favorite podcast you've done?
Oh,
is there
man.
one if I looked it up?
Yes, probably my favorite that I've done is Jeannie Seeley. She's a Grand Ole Opry Hall of Famer, Music Hall of Famer. That's probably my favorite because it just, I got to relive all the 60s and the 50s type of country and talking to her about it.
That's cool.
Sounds like my nephew.
Yeah. It's never too late to have kids. You sound like you really want to be a dad.
No, I don't. I don't.
You don't?
No.
Yeah. No, I don't.
There you go. No. I've learned with nephews that I really don't want to have kids.
Yeah. Well, what were the other podcasts you did that was like not about music?
Not about music. Ooh. Let's see. Man, that's I'm gonna have to look that up real quick because I just do so many. I have
Cool. I'll check it out.
yeah, you're gonna have to check it out because I'm sitting there going like, oh man, most of these are about music.
Yeah. Is country your favorite kind of music?
You know, I
Or you
listen.
like everything?
I listen to everything, but mostly like if I'm looking at pre-orders or stuff like that, it's usually country. So I would say probably.
Cool. Yeah. And where do you live?
I live in Mississippi.
Where? Oh, cool. What part?